Tough one to start this intro, but we do celebrate a double and run scored. Winning points pounded to the floor, and a tough shot to win points. All this and more, Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sportsnight. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And, so we've got some interesting highlights to show you this evening. And obviously, playoffs are here.
They are for a lot more teams as we
Yes.
continue to roll on. Others are wrapping up the regular season. And it's an exciting time to be around high school sports. We start with the baseball team. They'll actually wrap up their regular season this week. Last week, a trifecta for the Cardinals started with a trip to Maple Grove, and they lost to the highly ranked Crimson by a 77-1 score. Bloom Vachereau, Colin Fanoff, and Chell Norquist each had a hit, and that was it for the Cardinals against Maple Grove, falling to 0-15. Well, the Cardinals were back home on Wednesday playing at Sunstrom Field for the final time this season. Their opponent, an Osseo Orioles squad that has also struggled through the season. They had lost 12 in a row coming in, so someone's long slide was going to come to an end. The Orioles start the scoring with a bang, big shot to left field, and that's one is not coming back. A 3-run home run for Isaac Johnson, and Osseo jumps to a 4-0 lead. Cardinals get one back in the home half. Wind was blowing out to left, and Jacob Califoot goes to almost the exact same spot. A solo home run has him on the board, 4-1 after the first. Another long ball in the top of the second. This one maybe a little questionable. It's going to be right down the left field line. You judge for yourself. It is ruled a fair ball, and another 3-run rip for Isaac Johnson. Orioles stretch their lead to 9-1. Bottom two, Brady Lechner with a hot shot to third. McAllister can't knock it down. Colin Fanoff will round and come home to score. Cardinals trying to chip away at that lead. Lechner gets another RBI in the 6th inning, this time with a high fly to right. The sacrifice is going to score Reese Sharp, and they were hoping it would spark a rally. We are still in the bottom of the 6th inning. Califoot again, this time a sharp single through the left side. Braden Grisey was off with the crack of the bat, and he will score without a throw. But the hole, unfortunately, just too big, and the Cardinals fall by an 11-6 final.
Tough loss, obviously tough season to say the least. And this was a situation where the Cardinals, you look at that 3-run homer. If it was really foul, it kind of looked foul to me, but, I'm just
biased.
You think? But, the fact they scored 6 runs is the positive.
Yes.
But unfortunately, they gave up the 11, which has kind of been their bugaboo this year. Pitching has been giving up a lot of runs, and they haven't been scoring the runs that they typically would score.
And in some respects, though, at least those 11 came with a bunch of hits.
Exactly.
It wasn't hit by pitch and walk and things.
Absolutely.
So there were some positives. The 6, let's stay with the 6 scored runs as a positive.
Yes.
They did score 5 in their last game of the season on Friday night. This one was at Wintercrest, welcoming Cambridge Isani. Unfortunately, they lose to the Blue Jackets. And I think the Cardinals had like 10 or 11 hits in this one. So again, positives. Take them where you can find them. Not easy when you're looking at an 0-17 record, but they stayed in this game. Braden Grisey had really a pretty decent outing, but notice 6 runs, only one of them was earned, and that has been the other Achilles heel for this squad. Too many opportunities lost in the field. They finished the season with 3 games this week, all on the road. They're at Lakeville South today, at Chisago Lakes on Wednesday, and at Alexandria on Thursday. Some longer road trips against some non-conference opponents that perhaps, maybe, will give them a chance to end on a high note, get the monkey off their back before the playoffs.
Well, and I believe, too, that the last 2 games are at night, so there are a couple of night games for them. But, they would like to. I mean, granted, when the section comes, it's a tough draw for them, quite obviously. But they would like to get an opportunity to, as you mentioned, to get at least a win before the section playoffs.
2 would be even better.
Well,
All
3
games,
would be great.
Of course, weather permitting. But as we've talked about before, everybody has a chance to win the state tournament because everybody gets to the postseason. Softball team wrapping up its regular season last week. On Monday, they were in Sartell and they lost by a 7-5 score. Layla Meyer had a couple of hits, including a double and an RBI. Pacey Olson also went 2 for 4 with an RBI, a run scored. Erickson, Kellis, and Powell each had hits for the Cardinals. They fall to 2-15. And then Maple Grove. Maple Grove's pretty good this year.
They're really good.
As they are most years. They run up the score on the Cardinals 15-0 in that one. I believe Fowler's hit was the only hit of the ball game for Coon Rapids. They fall to 2-16. Another 5-inning affair on Thursday against Champlain Park. They lose to the Rebels by a 10-0 score. Got the bats going a little bit better, but not enough to produce any runs.
Well, the Cardinals wrapped up the regular season with a wild shootout in the rain at Sand Creek on Friday night. It was senior night, and they weren't about to let a little drizzle dampen their spirits. The Two Rivers Warriors were coming in hot with 5 wins in their last 6 games, and they jumped out to a big lead early, but the Cardinals battled to the bitter end. Warriors came out swinging, or really, they came out looking. After scoring 2 runs in the first, they took advantage of the Cardinals star, Sophia Bauk, struggles to find the zone. She surrendered several bases-loaded walks on some pitches that looked pretty good. And the Two Rivers had a 9-0 lead after 2 innings on just 1 hit. Cardinals do get back in the home half. Callie Powell with a bloop single to the right that falls. 1 run will score, but they're able to cut down Addie Folks at the plate. 9-2 Warriors. They chip into the lead some more in the third. Ava Kellis with a shot to deep left center. An RBI double made it 9-4. They had 4 more in the fourth and got back to within 1. See there, nice shot by Ava. Then the Warriors strike back. Sophomore Kaylee Rawl crushes the first pitch she sees in the 5th, a 3-run home run. Gave Two Rivers some breathing room again, and they pile it on. Coming up here in another big inning in the 6th, it's Rawl again. She's going to spark a 2-out rally with this drive to straightaway center. The double scored 2. The Warriors pushed the lead to 19-9. The Cardinals did score in the bottom of the 6th to force the 7th inning, but unfortunately, they lost a very long game. 20-13 was the final. It was a long one.
After 9:30 by the time that one wrapped up.
Yes.
But, credit to the Cardinals. I was unable to make it. I was otherwise occupied. But I checked in early, and I thought, oh, no, this is going to be an early one on senior night. They were down by that 9-0 score. I checked later. I'm like, wait, they're right back in this game. Then they were down big again, and they were able to force that 7th inning. Always continuing to battle, and that the persistence they're going to need if they hope to try and work their way through a section bracket.
As I was walking out, Callie Powell was walking out as well, and she thanked us obviously for coming and a couple of times, and we said absolutely. And I said, really a good effort coming back. I mean, it really was. They could have hung their heads, but they did a really nice job. It was 9-0 at one point, in danger of going up even more. And I think they did a really good job of coming back, and I think they can be proud about that fact, is that they fought to the bitter end.
Well, and again, they will need to. They are going to be the number 7 seed in 7-team section, 7-4A. And that means a first-round game against the Blaine Bengals. And they did not do so well against former coach Zach Nienaber's team first time around.
Bengals have won 12 in a row. So it's going to be definitely a tough one.
So what you're saying is both of those streaks are at a point where they could be broken.
They could be broken, quite obviously, and they would love to see it.
We're quoting Shapiro on that one. We will be there. Tennis team will compete in the individual section tournament this week. Last week, they opened the team tournament on their home court. Cardinals' 8-15 regular season record was enough to secure the 8th seed in the 12-team section, so they would start with the always tough 8-9 matchup, hosting a hungry Delano Tigers team. Junior captain Cooper Held has been outstanding at the top single spot all season long, and it continued against Delano. He wins 6-3, 6-4. Fellow junior Kieran McCarthy showing off his impressive court coverage on this point. He's come on real strong the second half of the season. Unfortunately, he lost on Tuesday 0-6, 4-6. Peyton Yang serving up the ace at third singles, part of a straight sets victory for him, 6-3, 6-0. On the fourth singles court, one of the great stories of the season, freshman Oliver Leet has really solidified his spot in the lineup this season. Perfect lob for the point right there. Unfortunately, he lost 4-6, 2-6. Moving to doubles, Cardinals in complete control of the first spot. Nikolai Hersamaki and Howie Lundberg make quick work of that point and quick work of their match, winning 6-3, 6-2. Co-captains Lachlan Demmer and Nick Ryland in the far court at second doubles. They win this point, but lose a close match, 6-7, 2-6. Third doubles, and this one right here is not coming back. It's not a good thing on a tennis court, unfortunately. Still, Tito Tumby and Brody Freustad lose 5-7, 2-6. Cardinals lose 4-3.
That 4-3 loss, you know, whether you win 4-3, you lose 4-3, it's always difficult when those are the final scores, and it's too bad they couldn't get that win.
Well, and I didn't go back and look at it, but their record in the 4-3s, I think they won more than they lost, but it's real close to that 500 mark. But the encouraging part is how much youth this team has. That whole singles lineup will be back. All but I think the two players, 3 of the 6 players in doubles will be back, I believe.
Yeah, and you talked about Oliver Leet and how well he's played. And, you know, sometimes you find those guys, the diamonds in the rough kind of players that you may think they'll contribute, but you don't know exactly what they'll do. And he's obviously done a really nice job. So
they will head into, let's take a look at what happened. Delano, not surprisingly, lost 7-0 to the number 1 seeded Wayzata Trojans, who also beat Hopkins by a 7-0 score, and they will face the number 2 seed in the tournament, who I think, I want to say it's St. Michael, but I don't know if that's correct. Coming from the bottom half of that, it was the same thing though. They won, I think, both of theirs 7-0, 7-0, or 7-0, 6-1. So top 2 seeds made it. The seeding guys got their predictions right.
It's definitely Wayzata's section to lose.
It'll be interesting to see what the individuals are able to do and who they end up putting in the double spots.
Yeah, Wayzata is so good though. I mean, it's they've been so good for so long. Well, the volleyball team had a pair of back-to-back matches last week, starting with a monumental task, traveling to Rogers on Wednesday. The conference and section leading Royals had won 20 straight since losing their season opener. They had only lost 2 total sets in their previous 11 matches, so the Cardinals would need to have their best game all night if they hoped to have a chance. First set, solid serve, receive, and quick turn back to Griffin Garbo. Doesn't get as much as he might like, but he finds the floor for the point. But the Royals are ranked 4th in the state for a reason. It's not all about offense. Good setup for Garbo again. He's denied on the left side. Rogers takes the first set, 25-11. Cardinals playing from behind again in the second, but they had their moments. Great power play from Josh Hyatt as he hammers it home here. But the Royals had all the answers, and they have so many weapons. Anytime the Cardinals made a mistake, they were quick to jump on it. Ethan Pearson with the winner here as Rogers takes the second set by the same score of 25-11. Cardinals fighting for their lives in the third, and they give everything they've got. Scrambling to get this one over, then a good job setting up for Garbo. He was held to just 8 kills, but that is still a team high. Nice one there. He powers that one to the floor.
I think that's about the only first time this year he's been held under double digits.
Yeah, Julian Vang serving late in the third, and the Royals make it look easy. Set up and kill for Landon Holterman. Rogers completes the sweep with a 25-21 win.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch this team, and you know, didn't know really what to expect coming in. We knew they had played and played pretty well last season as a club team, not really knowing what to expect. And it's been a roller coaster ride.
It has.
There's some other power teams in this conference, which doesn't really surprise you. I mean, you look at the size of the schools in the surrounding area. It's not surprising to see there's great competition, as there is in every other sport.
Well, anytime you can hold Griffin Garbo to eight kills, you know you're doing good defensively. And you're right, though. I don't think anything we've seen at least double-digit kills.
Yeah, I mean, I could go back and look, but he's been pretty good. Unfortunately, They played a little bit better against Andover, a little bit tighter match, but they lose in 4 on Thursday. Garbo with 19 kills, 13 digs, 2 aces, and a block. Bang had 6 kills and 10 digs. Josh Hyatt, 5 kills, 3 blocks, so playing strong defensively. Kavanaugh has been so strong on serve receive. 26 or 28 serve receives, only 1 error. 30 assists for Lucas Yang, along with 11 digs and 2 blocks. But they fall just below 500 again, 9-11. They've got 2 matches left this week. They host Osseo on Wednesday, and then they're at Prairie Seeds on Thursday. And then we'll see what happens with their playoff, which is right around the corner. The track and field teams had this past week off. The Northwest Suburban Conference Championships are being held this week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Next week on Wednesday and Thursday, Section 4 AA Championships. Of course, we'll have the conference information for you next week on Sports Night, and hope the following week to be talking about a plethora of Cardinal athletes advancing to state tournaments. Boys golf team, Northwest Suburban Conference at Loggers Trail last week on Tuesday. Cardinals finished in 10th place. We talked about it, 13th place last week, but they were only a handful of strokes out of advancing, 2 or 3 spots. There you go. They played a little bit better. They moved all the way up to 10th. And I want to say they were only 2 or 3 points or strokes behind 9th place. So still room to move up, but great to see 2 guys in the 70s. Oscar Berg, his low of the year, I believe, at 76. Noah Law had a 78. Dylan Bushy an 81, still a very solid score. Zach Bushy with an 88. Andrew Clark posted an 89, and Jackson Barsness was in with a 90. This week for the boys, they have the Northwest Suburban Conference Championships on Thursday. Next week on Tuesday is the Section 5 3A Championships. Both of those events held right here at Bunker Hills in Coon Rapids. Girls golf team started last week with the Purple Hawk Invite, and they finished in 6th place with a 404. That was on Wednesday last week. So interesting to see when these girls, they're so used to playing just a 9-hole round, how that second 9 plays out. And you can see girls were playing relatively steady front to back 9s. An 87 for the freshman Avery Anderson led the way. Kaylin Price got sub 100 with a 97. Lily McKenzie, back-to-back 54s. I know she would like to see a lower score than that, but again, when you're only used to playing 9 holes, that second 9 can really be daunting. Unfortunately, the girls golf team on Tuesday was playing in the Andover Invite, and this doesn't really, none of these scores are quite real because weather moved in and they were unable to finish. But they were in like 22nd place at the time that rain took over. But that is an event I guarantee the girls will remember long past their high school years, because all 150 kids who were playing in that tournament took shelter underneath the course in the cart garage, and waited out the storms as they passed through. And so that is something they will not soon forget, to be certain. And I meant to reach out to Coach Keeney to see if they were actually able to get out today. It was a little more than a little windy all day today, but they were supposed to be at the Legacy Christian Invite today, Monday. Northwest Suburban Conference Championship for them is on Tuesday this week, and then their section tournament next week as well. Both of those events, again, at the Gem of Coon Rapids, Bunker Hills. The boys lacrosse team had just the one game last week, and you know what? The Cardinals the Catbirds found themselves a conference victory.
Like it.
They were so close. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Two goal losses to both Blaine and Champlain Park. They needed to get over the hump against conference team, and they did so against the Falcons on Thursday, winning 14-12. Person, the freshman, 5 goals and an assist. Herzog chipped in with a hat trick of his own. Caden Conkler had 2 goals and an assist. Quist added 2 goals, and Brown had a goal and an assist. Good to see the transporter getting on the score sheet. Hosting Elk River Zimmerman tonight, Monday night. That's over at Spring Lake Park High School. They are at Osseo Park Center on Wednesday to wrap up their regular season. Girls lacrosse teams only contest last week against Breck, and they come up just short. The Mustangs are a pretty good team, though, and they gave them a run for their money, losing 11-7. They are 3-8 on the season. They will play at Osseo Park Center on Monday. They will host Totino St. Anthony on Wednesday, and that will be the end of their regular season.
Looking forward to some softball and some baseball playoffs.
Softball playoffs are upon us. We will be there on Wednesday as the number 7 seeded Coon Rapids Cardinals take on the number 2 seed Blaine Bengals. We will follow them as far as we are allowed. The same will go for the baseball team. We'll see if any other playoffs we're able to shuffle into the mix here at CTN. Always doing everything we can to bring you as much Cardinal action as possible. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young saying good night.